I measured out my days. Life carried me along. In my soul I yearned to follow God, but knew I'd never be so strong. I looked hard at this world to learn how heaven could be gained, just to end where I began, where human effort is all in vain. Were it not for grace, I can tell you where I'd be, wandering down some pointless road to nowhere, with my salvation up to me. I know how that would go. The battles I would face, forever running but losing the race, were it not for grace. So here is all my praise, expressed with all my heart, offered to the one who took my place and ran a course I could not start. And when he saw in full just how much his love would cost, he still ran the final mile between me and heaven, so I would not be lost. Were it not for grace, I can tell you where I'd be, running down some pointless road to nowhere, with my salvation up to me. I know how that would go. The battles I would face, forever running but losing the race, were it not for grace. Forever running but losing the race, were it not for grace. We pray for blessings, we pray for peace, comfort for family, protection while we sleep. We pray for healing, for prosperity. We pray for your mighty hand to ease our suffering, and all the while you hear each spoken need
yet love us way too much to give us lesser things. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? We pray for wisdom, your voice to hear. We cry in anger when we cannot feel you near. We doubt your goodness, we doubt your love, as if every promise from your word is not enough. And all the while you hear each desperate plea, as long as we have faith to believe. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? When friends betray us, when darkness seems to win, we know the pain remains disheart, that this is not our home. It's not our home. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if my greatest disappointments or the aching of this life is the revealing of a greater thirst this world can't satisfy? What if trials of this life, the rain, the storms, the hardest nights, are your mercies in disguise? Forever they were banished from their paradise. God passed through Eden's garden gates alone, but his compassion wrote the pages, unfolding through the ages, of a love that remains the greatest ever known. For God so loved that he gave his only Son to suffer agony on a hill called Calvary. Heaven's mercy reached my heart and bore my pain. Hope was born through sacred blood, for God so loved. Shouts of praise were heard throughout Jerusalem as Jesus humbly passed through Zion's gates. But the gloom of Calvary's sorrow dashed hopes of bright tomorrows, when the heart of a loving Father turned away. For God so loved that He gave His only Son to suffer agony on a hill called Calvary. Heaven's mercy reached my heart and bore my pain. Hope was born through sacred blood, for God so loved. Well, it seemed that all was over when they placed Him in the grave. But death's victory march was ended on that resurrection day. For God so loved that He gave His only Son to suffer agony on a hill called Calvary. Heaven's mercy reached my heart and bore my pain. Hope was born through sacred blood, for God so loved. Hope was born through sacred blood, for God so loved. Long ago He blessed the earth, born older than the years, and in the stall across He saw through the first of many tears a life of homeless wandering, cast out in sorrow's way. The shepherd seeking for the lost, His life the price He'd pay. The crucified arose, the risen one in splendor. Jehovah's sole defender has won the victory. The crucified arose, and the grave became a place of hope. For the heart that sin and sorrow broke is beating once again. Throughout your life you felt the weight of what you'd come to give, to drink for us that crimson cup, so we might really live. At last the time to love and die, the dark appointed day, that one forsaken moment when your father turned his face away. But crucified arose, the one who lived and died for me, for Satan's nail-pierced tragedy. Now he's living once again. The crucified arose, and the grave became a place of hope. For the heart that sin and sorrow broke is beating once again. The crucified arose, the risen one in splendor, Jehovah's sole defender, has won the victory. The crucified arose, and the grave became a place of hope. For the heart that sin and sorrow broke is beating once again. The crucified arose, and the grave became a place of hope. For the heart that sin and sorrow broke is beating once again. You are my hiding place. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Let the weak say I am strong in the strength of the Lord. You are my hiding place. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Let the weak say I am strong in the strength of the Lord. I will trust in you. You are my hiding place. You always fill my heart with songs of deliverance. Whenever I am afraid, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Let the weak say I am strong in the strength of the Lord.
I dreamed I went to heaven. You were there with me. We walked upon the streets of gold beside the crystal sea. We heard the angels singing, then someone called your name. You turned and saw this young man. He was smiling as he came. He said, "Friend, you may not know me now." And then he said, "But wait, You used to teach my Sunday school when I was only 8. Every week you would say a prayer before the class began. One day when you said that prayer, I asked Jesus in my heart. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. Then another man stood before you and said, remember the time a missionary came to your church. His pictures made you cry. You didn't have much money, but you gave it anyway. Jesus took the gift you gave. That's why I'm here today. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. One by one they came, for as the eye could see, each life somehow touched by your generosity. Little things you had done, sacrifices made, unnoticed on the earth, in heaven now proclaimed. And I know up in heaven you're not supposed to cry, but I am almost sure there were tears in your eyes as Jesus took your hand and stood you before the Lord. He said, my child, look around you, for great is your reward. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. I am so glad you gave. How can a story from so long ago make such a difference in the world that I know? When I heard the story of God's only Son,
finally begun. The unchanging story is always the same. Every time I hear it, I feel my heart change. Open a Bible that is tattered and worn. You'll still find a message with the power to transform. Takes a heart that is so hard and moves it to tears. Takes a life that is so scarred and wipes away all the fears. The unchanging story is always the same. Every time I hear it, I feel my heart change. Yesterday and forever, it always will be. The unchanging story is still changing me. Doubters may tell you you will never receive. Darkness will assail you and try to deceive. Nothing can stop a child on his knees, lifting his voice, crying, Lord, I believe. The unchanging story is always the same. Every time I hear it, it makes my heart change. Yesterday and forever, it always will be. The unchanging story is still changing me. Yesterday and forever, it always will be. The unchanging story is still changing me. The unchanging story is still changing me. We lost a dear member of our church several weeks ago. Her name was Margaret Turner. She had really been a blessing to me through the years, and I want to dedicate this song in her memory, Serenaded by Angels. She went to sleep one night, never here to awaken, but everything was alright between her and him. So she awoke in heaven's courtyard, free from pain within. The angels gathered round her and took her by the hand, serenaded by angels, up to the throne, serenaded by angels, finally at home, surrounded by praises to the King. Welcome to paradise, the angels did sing. I close my eyes at night and I try to remember that city of brilliant lights waiting for me. But my mind cannot conceive, so I continue to dream till I'm transported there where I will be, serenaded by angels, up to the throne, serenaded by angels, finally at home, surrounded by praises to the King. Welcome to paradise, the angels will sing, serenaded by angels, up to the throne, serenaded by angels, finally at home, surrounded by praises to the King. Welcome to paradise, the angels will sing. Welcome to paradise, the angels will sing. I've had many tears and sorrows, I've had questions for tomorrow. There've been times I didn't know right from wrong, but in every situation God gave blessed consolation, that my trials come to only make me strong. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word.
I've been to lots of places, and I've seen a lot of faces. There've been times I felt so all alone. But in my lonely hours, those precious lonely hours, Jesus let me know that I was His own. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, oh, I've learned to depend upon His word. I thank God for the mountains, and I thank Him for the valleys. I thank Him for the storms He's brought me through. For if I'd never had a problem, I wouldn't know that God could solve them. I'd never know what faith in God can do. Through it all, oh, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, oh, I've learned to depend upon His word. Oh, I've learned to depend upon His word. Through it all. I thought that it would happen to anyone but me. I never dreamed that I would carry this heavy burden on my knees. I never thought that I'd be standing just where I stand today. I've never known this kind of heartbreak. I've never felt this kind of pain. But you're still God. When my eyes have cried a million tears, you're still God. When my life's hope has disappeared, you're still God. And I know you'll make a way somehow. You're still God, and you're holding me right now. My heart can't find the answer for the reason for this trial. But Lord, I know your ways are perfect, and you've been watching all the while. For to me you've proven faithful time and time again. And I'm learning, Lord, to trust you even when I don't understand. You're still God. When my eyes have cried a million tears, you're still disappeared. You're still God, and I know you'll make a way somehow. You're still God, and you're holding me right now. You're still God, and you're holding me right